Aerospace and defense industry has very unique ERP needs. So, which are the ERP systems that are the top in 2023 for aerospace and defense companies? That's exactly what we are going to discuss in this video. So, let's dive in. Hello everyone, my name is Sam Gupta and I am principal at Elevate IQ. Elevate IQ is the independent ERP and digital transformation consulting firm. We help our clients when they are undertaking any of the digital transformation initiatives. We help them with planning, strategy, and taking them up to go live. So let's get back to today's topic, which is going to be the top 10 ERP systems for aerospace and defense companies in 2023. Before we look at the list, we are going to discuss which are the companies that are qualified as the aerospace and defense. And typically, these are going to be any companies that are going to be part of your aerospace and defense industries. There are many different business models, whether you talk about the tier 1, tier 2 manufacturers and suppliers, whether you talk about the OEMs, or these are going to be the defense contractors. So all of that are bundled as part of this list. Now, each of those verticals may have very unique needs. So some of the systems that might be okay for tier 1, tier 2 might not be the best for your OEMs. So make sure you are doing due diligence, but at least this list is going to provide you some insights into what are the options that are typically successful in these hatches. So to compile this list, we look at several different factors, such as how many times the product has been successful for aerospace and defense industries, the market share, the product share, the community, the momentum, the technology. So we are looking at the comprehensive picture of the product before we compile this list. So now let's look at the list. Number 10 on our list is the product called Rootstock. Last year we had Oracle ERP Cloud, so minor change there. Now, Rootstock is a very SMB product. It's in Salesforce ecosystem. Rootstock started as more of the MRP product in the Salesforce ecosystem. The strength for Rootstock is that it integrates really well with your CRM as well as the field service offering that Salesforce has, and you are probably going to get the seamless experience because everything is built on top of your Salesforce platform. So if you are already heavy on Salesforce, the users are going to love it. It's also going to be extremely mobile friendly as well as cloud native. The developer support is far easier to get just because it's built on Salesforce, and Salesforce has very prevalent developer ecosystem in general. So getting support, at least on the product, is not going to be as difficult. Rootstock specific knowledge may be proprietary to them, so you might still struggle with the support. And in Salesforce ecosystem, you are not going to get as deep ERP know-how, so that could be a challenge overall with the Rootstock product. It does have great capabilities for engineer to order centric patches, so that's why it's a great fit for aerospace and defense, because these are going to be slightly more project centric organizations. The way their manufacturing is going to be, they are going to have WBS centric capabilities. They are going to require program management capabilities. They are going to be really deep into quality and compliance processes. So some of the weaknesses for Rootstock is going to be the accounting capabilities. And if you are going to be regulated organization or you are publicly traded organization, then it might not be the best fit. Rootstock product also has the limited install base. They have roughly 200 to 300 installs right now. So it's still very low in general compared to some of the other ERP solutions, and talent and ecosystem is not going to be as prevalent as some of the other products on this list. Having said that, Rootstock could be a great option for aerospace and defense companies, and that's why it ranks at number 10 on our list. Now, number 9 on our list is the product called IQMS. Last year we had SAP S4HANA. So just a little bit of change there. Now, IQMS is a SMB product for the small to medium size businesses, and it's very deep into the engineer to order functionality because it's tightly integrated with SolidWorks, and it's owned by the same company that also has SolidWorks in its portfolio. So that's why the integration, the users that are going to be on SolidWorks, and if they are going to be really heavy engineer to order organization, they might have all of these web plugins that they might be using from the SolidWorks portfolio for the customer collaboration. So the process is probably going to feel seamless, and that's why they might appreciate IQMS, just because of that tighter integration with the product. The aerospace specific last mile capabilities are going to be there with the product. So that's why it does really well in the aerospace and defense marketplace. Now, the weaknesses for IQMS is going to be the UI and UX is legacy. It's a legacy product, and it does not have as great momentum as some of the other products that we have on the list. The ecosystem is very limiting as well in general. The maturity of the partners and the consultants that are going to be there in the ecosystem, it's not going to be there. Having said that, IQMS still a very strong product for aerospace and defense companies, and that's why it ranks at number 9 on our list. Now, number 8 on our list is the product called Infor Cloud Suite Industrial. Last year, we had Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations. Infor Cloud Suite Industrial is the SMB product from Infor. It's known for its mixed mode manufacturing capabilities. The strength for Infor Cloud Suite Industrial is the mixed mode manufacturing capabilities with strong field service capabilities as well that might be missing in some of the mixed mode manufacturing products. And these field service capabilities are going to be equally handy for aerospace companies if they might be servicing their equipments and the components in the field. So depending upon your business model, what you might be doing, it could be a fit or it might struggle. The other strength for Infor Cloud Suite Industrial is going to be that it's able to support complex MRP runs, which might be a challenge with many other products that might not be as deep in its capabilities. So it's designed for companies that are going to have large number of SKUs and very complex products and multiple layers in their BOMs. So that's where Infor Cloud Suite Industrial really shines. The serialized assemblies is going to be another benefit with Infor Cloud Suite Industrial, because it can support very deep serialized serviceable assemblies for the components, and that's where your aerospace and defense companies are probably going to require, because each of the component is probably going to be serialized the way it is going to work because of the compliance issues. So that's where Infor Cloud Suite Industrial could be really handy. Now, the weaknesses for Infor CSI is that the UI and UX is legacy. The challenges are going to be in the WBS based manufacturing. So if you're a very project centric organization, then Infor CSI may not be the best fit. The other challenges with Infor CSI is also going to be the last mile functionality that some of these aerospace and defense companies are going to require. Having said that, Infor CSI is still a very strong product, and that's why it ranks at number 8 on our list. Now, number 7 on our list is the product called Deltek. Last year we had Rootstock, so some changes there. Deltek is a very project-centric, targeted for government contractors primarily. Now, the strength for Deltek is going to be that GovCon functionality that is going to be very deep, that you are not going to find with any other products, and it has integration with some of the RFP tools and the sourcing tools that is probably not going to be there. So if you are primarily a government-centric business, then Deltek could be a great fit. Now, the JACA compliance is also very involved and deep overall from the product perspective. So if you care for that, building that on top of your horizontal product could be extremely challenging. So if you're really deep into that, you might definitely want to look into that. It is also one of the strongest project management solution, and they have many different products in their portfolio. Most of their products are going to be very deep in general in the project management. Now, the weakness for Deltek is going to be it's weak in its CRM capabilities. So you are most likely going to be using something like Salesforce on top of this and using Deltek for your project-centric functionality. It's not going to be as diverse as some of the other solutions that we have on this list. So if you're really active in M&A, it could be challenging for you to stay on Deltek because you might need to support many different business models. Deltek might be able to support the project-centric business model really well, as well as the government contractor, but not so much. Let's say if you are acquiring any sort of manufacturing distribution business, it could be challenging with Deltek. Not really designed for manufacturing. It's not a manufacturing solution. It's a very project-centric solution. So keep that in mind. Having said that, Deltek is still a very strong solution for A&D companies, and that's why it ranks at number 7 on our list. Number 6 on our list is Oracle Cloud ERP. Last year we had IQMS, so some changes there. Oracle Cloud ERP is a very large solution from Oracle. It targets large, publicly traded, $1 billion plus organization. And the strength for Oracle Cloud ERP is that when you might be considering the best of breed architecture where the majority of components are going to be on different applications, for example, your financials is different than your project management or your manufacturing, that's where Oracle is going to be really handy when you are utilizing it mainly for that financial core. Especially for the larger companies, they like to have that best of breed architecture because bringing everybody, the whole company in one solution could be challenging. The other strength for Oracle Cloud ERP is going to be those integrated HCM processes that they are going to have. And in some cases, you might require that because of the skill-based scheduling that you need. So compliance could be a factor. If you care for that, then Oracle Cloud ERP could be a great fit. Now, it could be great for publicly traded large companies. If you care for the governance compliance related to SEC filing or publicly traded companies, that's where Oracle Cloud ERP really shines. It also is very strong in the analytics piece. So when you are going to be looking at your financial planning as well as analysis processes, CPM processes, Oracle is going to provide that as part of the solution. Now, the weakness for Oracle Cloud ERP is going to be the aerospace specific capabilities and need large IT department as well as the Oracle COE for you to be successful on this product. It might be too big for smaller companies. So if you are a SMB looking for package solution, this is probably not the best fit for you. Having said that, Oracle Cloud ERP is still a very strong product, and that's why it ranks at number 6 on our list. Now, number 5 on our list is SAP S/4HANA. SAP S/4HANA, last year we had Deltek at the spot, so some changes there. SAP S/4HANA has very similar market positioning as your Oracle ERP Cloud, primarily targets very large companies that are looking for slightly more best of breed experience. Now, the difference between SAP S/4HANA and Oracle Cloud ERP is going to be that SAP S/4HANA has far deeper product-centric capabilities when you are going to have millions and millions of SKUs with multiple layers, and you require the MRP-centric capabilities. So if you're a very strong manufacturing distribution-centric organization, that's where SAP S/4HANA is going to be superior than your Oracle Cloud ERP. The best of breed solutions such as your SuccessFactors, CPQ, Hybris, these are going to be friendlier for the product-centric companies. And if you're looking for these best of breed options that are going to be pre-integrated by the OEM, that's where SAP S/4HANA really shines. Now, the weakness for SAP S/4HANA will be the aerospace specific compliance capabilities that might either require add-ons or custom development on top of that. So you need to keep that in mind if you are buying purely for the finance, that and then SAP S/4HANA could be a great fit. But then if you are buying for those deep operational capabilities, then SAP S/4HANA may not have all of that and may require you to develop on top of the horizontal solution. It's probably going to be too big for smaller companies and require IT department as well as SAP COE, just like your Oracle Cloud ERP. Having said that, SAP S/4HANA is still a very strong solution, and that's why it ranks at number 5 on our list. Number 4 on our list is Microsoft Dynamics 365 F&O, and it also has very similar market positioning as your SAP S/4HANA or Oracle Cloud ERP. But in terms of the workload capabilities, Microsoft Dynamics 365 may not be able to process the same workload as your SAP S/4HANA, but still targets very large companies in general. Now, the strength for Microsoft Dynamics 365 F&O will be those embedded TMS as well as the best of breed CRM. So depending upon what architecture you are trying to build and which applications need to be best of breed in your case, depending upon how much traffic do you have on those applications and how much power the organization has in that department. They might require, or they might want a best of breed capability. They might not want to be on the ERP for those departments. So capable to support multiple business model in one solution. And that's where Microsoft Dynamics 365 F&O really shines. And it does have the strongest project management capabilities. And most of the A&D companies are probably going to require very strong project management capabilities at the WBS level. And that's where the other solutions are not going to be as great fit. But Microsoft has far deeper capabilities for the project-centric organizations. And that's why that's one of the strengths for Microsoft. Now, the weaknesses for Microsoft is not a fit for SMB companies because it's a very large solution, last mile capabilities. You either need to find add-on or you need to build it custom. So you have those risks there. And then it does require the internal IT capabilities because it's a very technical solution. The support from Microsoft is very lean. So you are primarily dependent upon your vendor, the vendor that may have sold. And sometimes they are not even going to tell you how much IP they might be hosting on top of the core platform. So you might have much deeper lock with your vendor in general with Microsoft. Having said that, Microsoft is still a very strong solution, and that's why it ranks at number 4 on our list. Now, number 3 on our list is the solution called Epicor Kinetic. Last year we had IFS, so some changes there. Now, the strength of Epicor Kinetic has a very similar market positioning as your Infor CSI. Primarily targets your mixed mode manufacturing companies. It has pre-integrated MES with or without ERP. So that's going to be an advantage with Epicor Kinetic, depending upon the kind of architecture that you are trying to build. Whether do you want to host these quality processes as part of your MES solution, or would you care for these processes as part of the ERP layer? So again, depending upon the architecture, it could be a fit or it may not be a fit. It does have better support for project-based manufacturing compared to your Infor CSI. So if you are very project-heavy organization, but also need the mixed mode manufacturing capabilities, that's where Epicor Kinetic may be a superior fit. It does have the diverse capabilities to support many different manufacturing business models. T1, T2 is where it's really successful in general. The weaknesses for Epicor Kinetic is that it might struggle with companies with complex MRP runs. We have seen some issues with Epicor Kinetic when the BOM layers are going to be very thick, when the products are going to be very thick as well. Sometimes the MRP may struggle, but you might have strategies to be able to manage that. But we have seen challenges with that. So make sure you are doing some POCs before you commit to the product as well as to the license. The field service capabilities are probably going to be challenging as well. So add-on that they have acquired, they were not built as part of the product, so they might not be as integrated as of today. So pay attention to that as well. The BOM data integrity may be a challenge as well. Now, depending upon how much you care for the BOM data integrity, the correlation between your material and operations, and because of that, if you might have any sort of issues, downstream issues, and that's where Epicor Kinetic is going to struggle. Having said that, Epicor Kinetic is still a very strong product for aerospace and defense companies, and that's why it ranks at number 3 on our list for this year. Number 2 on our list is the solution called IFS. Last year we had Infor Cloud Suite Industrial, so some changes there. IFS is a very large solution in general designed for very project-centric companies. So IFS does really well overall in the A&D space just because they are very field service centric, MRO centric, as well as your project centric. And that's where IFS is really deep. IFS is also very deep in the asset centric capabilities. And most of the assets that you are going to have, they are going to require tighter compliance, far tighter maintenance schedule, proactive maintenance. If you don't do that, then you have a risk of losing millions and millions of dollars. So you need far tighter capabilities there. And that's where IFS really shines. The other strength for IFS is going to be its cloud native UI and UX. The product is really modern the way it is designed. The weaknesses for IFS is the limited manufacturing capabilities. IFS is primarily not a manufacturing solution, even though it has some manufacturing capabilities. If you are going to be pure play manufacturer, then IFS may not be the best fit. It might not be as deep with government contractor functionality that you are going to get with, let's say, Del check or DACA compliance. You might need to develop that, or you might need to use some sort of IP add-on, on top of IFS. The talent ecosystem is very limiting as well, especially if you look at North America. It's primarily successful in the Europe market. Having said that, IFS is still a very strong solution, and that's why it ranks at number 2 on our list. Now, number 1 on our list is the solution called Infor-LN. Last year also we had Infor-LN. Infor-LN targets the A&D companies that are going to be anywhere from your $250 million to roughly $2 billion in revenue. It is probably going to be one of the strongest product for aerospace companies because it has the deep manufacturing capabilities, plus it is going to have the deep project manufacturing capabilities for those products that are going to have very long lead time, and they might require a project to be able to manage their processes as well as the program management. And then the Infor-LN solution is also going to have the compliance capabilities as well as the quality capabilities that most of the aerospace companies are going to care. It also has very strong CPQ if the aerospace company is going to care for that CPQ or the configurator experience, especially if you are going to be T1, T2 manufacturer as well as distributor, you might care for that. The weaknesses for Infor-LN is that UI and UX is not going to be as modern as some of the other products. The ecosystem is very limited. The talent base is very limited as well. And it's not as diverse as some of the horizontal solution. So if you're really involved in the M&A cycle, there could be challenges with the product. Having said that, Infor-LN is perhaps the strongest product for aerospace and defense companies, and that's why it ranks at number 1 on our list. If you like our insights, we are going to include a detailed article as part of this video, so you might want to check that. This podcast is also available in the audio form on Apple, Spotify, and Google. So hit the subscribe button there. And if you enjoy this video, we publish this on a weekly basis. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button on YouTube if you don't want to miss it. And if you have not checked our digital transformation report for 2023, we include similar insights and the list as part of that report. So you are going to find everything in one place. So make sure you download that. On that note, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.